Hey guys, welcome to my living room and welcome to BroFlow Yoga for Guys. Enjoy. Hey guys, welcome to BroFlow Yoga for Guys online. Firstly, massive thumbs up for investing in the program. Thank you very much. I hope that this program can become a really useful resource for you to start developing your home yoga practice so that you can unleash all the amazing benefits that I know a regular yoga practice can bring both physically and mentally. Today, we're going to lay the foundations for a lot of the patterns of postures that you're going to follow throughout this program with our Ultimate Warrior Flow. We're going to start in Child's Pose, which is a wide-legged, real restorative posture to set things off, okay? So we'll take the knees out nice and wide. We'll just sit all the way back towards the heels. And we'll just start to lengthen the spine by walking the fingertips towards the front of your mat. If you've got a couple of blocks and they're handy, they might be a useful tool to pop at the top of your mat for later in this practice. From here, just rest your forehead down onto the ground. Find a comfortable space for you to begin your practice with me today. I'm just going to take the first couple of minutes of this practice to settle both the body and the mind so that we feel fully capable of practicing yoga for the next 30 or 40 minutes or so. This posture might provide a nice sensation of stretch to the inner thighs, the groin, and it also lengthens the spine in preparation from some of our standing postures later in this practice. A nice subtle way to begin your first yoga practice in this series is just to follow the rhythm of your breath. So maybe you just start to notice your inhales, notice your exhales, and try to create a nice, smooth and calm breath that you can take with you throughout this practice. You might notice that as you inhale, your chest and your tummy, your shoulders, they all start to rise a little bit. Maybe you notice as you exhale that they all start to fall and you perhaps sink a little bit deeper into the stretch. To begin this practice today, we'll take about 3 deep breaths here together. So let's inhale through the nose. And then exhale out the mouth. Just a couple more. Inhale. And then exhale. One last time. Inhale. And then exhale. And then just nice and slow, pour forward to a tabletop position. So palms underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. This will be a position that we assume quite a lot in these practices. We'll start with flexion and extension of the spine through cat and cow pose. Begin by relaxing the tummy toward the ground, opening up the chest, maybe lifting the chin gently and gazing forward for cow pose. As you exhale, tuck the chin towards your chest and start to find a nice rounded spine, rounding the mid, upper, and lower back all the way toward the ceiling. Let's try that about 3 or 4 times. Inhale. And exhale. Flow at a rhythm that feels comfortable for you. Try not to be too overwhelmed with all of this talk of breath. It will start to feel quite instinctive and feel quite natural the more that you practice in this series. And then come back to a neutral tabletop place. We'll start to tiptoe the hands towards the top of the mat, starting to sink the chest, sink the chin, the forehead all the way down towards the ground, maybe even resting the forehead to the ground. Begin to wrap your elbows toward one another so that the arms feel quite active here. This is in preparation for downward facing dog, which we're going to take next, and is one of the real staple greatest hits postures of this practice, one that we will practice throughout this entire series many, many times. And then just walk your hands back towards your body. So the palm of the hands are just slightly in front of the shoulders this time. We're going to curl the toes and press up and back into what looks like a big letter A frame. The intention with this posture is to find comfort through your hands and your feet so that we generate a big stretch of the entire back of your body. You can press your heels to the ground if you like, but it's not really necessary here. And for most people, it will probably feel like too much of a strain to do so. So I suggest you bend your knees, you sink your chest and your chin back towards your thigh here. We'll stay for a couple of breaths. You can even pedal out the feet, pressing your right heel to the ground, lifting your left heel. And then the same thing on the other side, pressing your left heel to the ground, lifting your right heel. Maybe just one more time. Press the right heel down, lift the left heel, almost like you're walking on the spot. And then switch, press the left heel down, lift the right heel. And then bring your toes a bit closer together. As you inhale, come up onto the tiptoes of both tiptoes this time, lifting your hips towards the ceiling. As you exhale, lower your heels towards the ground. Couple more. Inhale, tiptoes. And exhale, heels. Inhale, tiptoes. And exhale, heels. Let's start to build our very first connecting flow. And this will be a sequence of postures that we experience many, many times throughout this series. As you inhale, pour forward to plank pose, stacking shoulders over the palm of your hands. Feet are about hip width apart. You start to engage the core here. Just draw the belly button slightly in and up. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, press up and back, downward facing dog again. So we'll try that a couple of times. Inhale takes us forward to plank. Exhale takes us back, downward facing dog. One last time. Inhale, pour forward to plank. This time, we'll drop the knees to the ground and we'll slowly hug the elbows in and lower the chest and the chin all the way down to the ground. Nice and slow with control. Press your toes to the back of the room, spread the feet about hip width apart. 3 little back bends from here. Inhale, press into the earth, lift the chest, lift the chin, start to gaze forward. As you exhale, release. Couple more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Push back to tabletop. And then back to downward facing dog. So that sequence of postures is known as a connecting flow or a connecting vinyasa. It's a real popular way to flow between sequences in vinyasa flow practice, the style of practice that we use for this Bro Flow series. So we're going to practice it a couple of times here till it becomes second nature. Inhale, pour forward to plank, ripple forward like a wave. As you exhale, drop the knees, lower the chest and chin all the way down. This time, just the one back bend. Inhale, lift. Exhale, downward facing dog. We'll try that one more time. Inhale, pour forward to plank. This time as you exhale, option to drop your knees just like before, or lower, chest and chin with your knees raised. Hugging those elbows in as slow as your body allows. Inhale to your back bend. Exhale, tabletop, and then back to downward facing dog. A couple of breaths in your downward facing dog again, just pedaling out the feet. In downward facing dog this time round, just take a slightly wider stance. So take your feet about as wide as your hips. And then start to walk your hands back towards your feet. So you're in a forward fold at the back of your mat. Bend your knees enough so that your chest rolls onto your thighs and your chin tucks in towards your chest. And then maybe start to add a little bit of movement. Just rock the hands over to the right and then over towards the left. If you're someone who has quite tight hamstrings, most likely this will be a strenuous sequence. Just really bend your knees. Give yourself full permission to fold here. And then come back to center. Bend both knees. And for the first time in this flow, just start to roll up one vertebrae at a time, nice and slow. Almost zombie style, just rolling all the way up to stand. Allow your shoulders to roll onto your back, your palms to rotate forward. We'll just take one breath here together. In through the nose, and then out through the mouth. Walk your feet a little bit closer together. We'll take a couple of rounds of a version of half sun salutation. Again, another way for us to connect the breath to the movement in a real rhythmic and hopefully quite meditative flow. So as you inhale, sweep your hands to the sky. Slight back bend as you look up towards your thumbs. As you exhale, fold all the way over your thighs again, bending the knees as much as you need to. Inhale, find a flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, circle the hands to the sky. Slight back bend as you look up towards your thumbs. Exhale, refold over your thighs. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, hands to the sky. This time as you exhale, it's hands to your heart. Awesome. So keep your hands roughly in a prayer position here, just drawing the thumbs towards the sternum. We're going to take a warrior one pose, so the first warrior that we'll do in this practice. So open up your back foot to about a 45-degree angle, that right foot, sorry, to about a 45-degree angle. Take a big step forward with your left foot, bending the left knee so it begins to track forward, maybe even over the left ankle. Now your chest, it's going to want to open to the inside of your thigh. See, can you wrap it forward so that it flows more towards the front of the room, as long as it's comfortable for you. As you inhale, take both hands to the sky. Maybe slight back bend as you look up towards your thumbs. We'll be here for a couple of breaths in your very first warrior one pose. Congratulations, you've done the first of very many warrior one postures that you'll take throughout this series. A couple of breaths here, just finding comfort within this posture. If you need to back off of that bend of your knees, you can do that. Take one last inhale here. As you exhale, slowly release the hands to your hips. And then maybe straighten the left thigh just a little. Shuffle that right foot in a couple of inches. We're going to take a nice engagement through the hamstrings here as we fold over the left thigh. So round off the chest, so again it faces towards the front of the room here. As you inhale, lengthen the spine, sit up nice and tall. As you exhale, hinge forward over that left thigh. Nice flat back here. Big line of energy flows from your tailbone to the crown of your head. As you exhale, slowly come back up. We'll try this one more time, and this is where we might use the blocks here. So inhale. Hinge forward. You can stay here, or you can release your hands down to the block. Taking the block to whatever height feels comfortable, opening up the chest, lengthening once again, and continuing to just drag that left heel back, straightening the left thigh. Nice flat back here on top of the blocks, or hands to your hips. A couple of breaths here. Take one last inhale here. As you exhale, release the blocks, bend your left knee, step back to downward facing dog. You might feel like your left leg feels a bit different than your right, so give them a little pedal until they feel a bit more even again. And then we'll take another one of those connecting flows. We'll inhale, pour forward to plank. Your choice, you can drop the knees or lower from your tiptoes, chest and chin, all the way down to the ground. Just the one back bend again to cobra pose. Press into the earth, lift the chest, lift the chin, gaze forward, exhale, back to tabletop, and then downward facing dog again. So just like we did on the other side, we'll start to walk the hands back towards your feet, taking a forward fold at the back of your mat. Inhale, find a flat back from here. Lengthen tailbone all the way up to the crown of your head. As you exhale, release. Inhale, circle your hands to the sky. Circle them high and wide, palms come together to touch. Again, as you exhale, it's just hands to your heart. So we'll try that warrior one sequence on the other side now. This time, open up your left foot, about a 45-degree angle, although it's not an exact science, so don't stress too much about the measurements. Big step forward with the right foot, sending that right foot towards the front of the room and bending the right knee. Just like on the other side, chest is going to want to open to the inside, so you wrap it forward, so the chest and thigh, they're flowing in the same line here. And then, just like before, take the hands to the sky. Think about lengthening the side body first, rather than just dumping into the low back. Find a nice stable place in this warrior one, and then you can think about maybe opening up the chest and gazing up between your thumbs. Couple of breaths here. Take one last inhale. As you exhale, release your hands to your hips. Straighten your right thigh just like before. And then maybe shuffle that back foot in a couple of inches. Lengthen the spine, sit up nice and tall once again. And as you inhale, just hinge forward over that right thigh. Engaging the right heel, just gently drawing it back to provide some stability. As you exhale, slowly come back up. One more time on this side, inhale, hinge forward. And then this time, option to stay where you are or use the blocks to provide some support. Lengthening the spine, lengthening the tailbone to the crown of the head, and finding a nice big stretch of that right hamstring. You might find that your right hip starts to scoot out to the side, so you just wrap it back in towards the middle of your mat, and then gaze forward a couple of foot in front of your mat. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, release the blocks. Find downward facing dog again. Same thing as before, connecting flow. Inhale pours us forward to plank. Exhale, we slowly lower, chest and chin to the ground. This time we're going to tiptoe the hands forward to find Sphinx pose. So we're resting on the elbows here. Elbows underneath shoulders, palms pressing into the ground. Sphinx pose is a real nice way to open the front of the body and really lengthen the spine as well. Nice back bend here. This will be a posture that we take quite a lot in the series as well. I'm going to give you the option to stay exactly as you are. Think about the chest just drawing towards the front of the room. Or if you'd like a slightly deeper back bend, press into your palms and just lift forearms up off the ground. Either way, a couple of breaths. Take one last inhale. As you exhale, release, forearms down. Just slide the hands down towards your chest and then push back to tabletop this time. Palms underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. We'll take one more round of that cat-cow that we took at the start of the practice. Inhale, allow the tummy to relax. Open up the chest, open up the collarbones. And then exhale, chin to chest, round the upper back. Stay in this nice rounded back position this time. Keep the chin tucked in. You could even curl the toes underneath as well. I find it's the best way to really knead into the very bottom of my back. You can even allow the head to feel quite free here. Nods from side to side, or you make some circles with the head. Before we release, taking the knees together, taking child's pose again with a much more rounded spine, folding chest to your thighs, maybe forehead to the ground, or on top of a block if it feels like it's too far away. Just a couple of breaths here. So just taking a couple of breaths here with this nice rounded spine to counteract all the lengthening of the spine and slight back bending that we've already done in this practice today. You can even rock the forehead slightly side to side here. Just take one more full breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Release the hands, walk them forward. And find downward facing dog again. Start to bend the knees, pedal out the feet before we walk the feet all the way up towards the hands, and we take a forward fold at the top of your mat. Take as many steps as you need to. Bend the knees loads, really fold over the thighs. Maybe allow the spine to just rock from side to side again. And then inhale, find that flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, hands to the sky. Exhale, hands to your heart. So this next flow we're going to practice is going to encompass Warrior 3 and Warrior 2. And prior warning, it does require a little bit of balance. So just walk your feet together at the top of your mat and I'll talk you through. Big toes together to touch, heels really close together. We're going to open up that right foot so that you rest the right heel slightly above your left ankle. This right knee is just going to rotate out to the side whilst the center of your chest flows forward. And you draw the palms together in a nice, comfortable prayer position here. This is just a way for you to broaden the chest and draw the thumbs to the sternum, which will be important in just a second. You can stay here, or you can take that right heel a little bit higher. Maybe it rests onto the calf, or maybe it even rests slightly above the knee. But try your best not to put any pressure on the knee here. Just be a couple of breaths. Trying to evenly press down through the heel of the left foot, the big toe and the baby toe. So those 3 points of contact, providing the stable structure in which this posture is built. Take one last inhale here. As you exhale, draw your right knee in towards your chest. Now for the tricky part, send that right heel all the way to the back of the room. Keep that right heel raised and just hinge over that left thigh. Big line of energy flows from your right heel all the way to the crown of your head. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, step the right foot back and then just ground the right heel so that your toes are pointed out. This time it's more of a right angle with that right foot. Bend the left knee loads, left hand goes forward and right hand goes back. So the chest is opening towards the right side of the room, but you turn your gaze and you look over the center of your left hand. Congrats again, you're in Warrior 2, the first of very many of these postures you'll take in this series. Take a couple of breaths here. Take one last inhale here. And one last exhale here. And then drop your back hand to your back thigh. Tiptoe those right fingertips down a little. Flip your left hand, reach all the way up and back to reverse the warrior here. Bicep to your ear, and you just gaze underneath your left armpit towards the front of the room. Continue to bend that left knee, so that it flows towards the front of the room. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, come back to center, back to your Warrior 2. And then slowly straighten your left thigh. Begin to hinge forward over the left thigh. Drop the left hand inside the left thigh. Take right hand to the sky for triangle pose. Again, we're just introducing this posture here. We will practice this several times throughout this program. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, come back to Warrior 2. And then just circle both hands forward so that you're framing the left foot. Those right tiptoes, they can pedal back just a little so that both feet are pointed forward now. Plant your right hand to the ground. Sweep left hand to the sky. Draw the belly button in. Start to feed into a nice big twist towards the left side of your room, left side of your mat. Take an inhale here. Exhale, release. Step it back. Downward facing dogs. Now we're going to go through another one of those connecting flows. They should start to be a bit more familiar now. Inhale, pour forward. Exhale, slowly lower. Inhale to your back bend. Exhale to downward facing dog. Begin to bend both knees this time and start to walk the feet all the way up towards the top of your mat, taking a forward fold again. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, hands to the sky. Exhale, hands to your heart. So let's try the same flow again, starting with tree pose. Walk your feet a little closer together. Open up that left heel this time so it rests slightly above your right ankle. And just rotate that left knee slightly out to the side. Center of the chest, it still flows towards the front of the room here. You can stay exactly as you are, or take that left foot a bit higher onto your right calf, or even above the knee. You'll notice as I really start to shake on this side, there are no guarantees that one side will feel like the other, so just adjust accordingly. A couple of breaths. I have been known in my practices to ask people to close their eyes here, just to see how it changes your perception of this posture. So feel free, if you like, you can close your eyes, but I guarantee it will change things drastically. Take one last inhale in your tree pose. As you exhale, draw the left knee in towards your chest. Lift that left knee up, almost Karate Kid style. And then send that left heel all the way to the back of the room. Hinge over that right thigh for Warrior 3 pose again. Big line of energy from left heel to crown of the head. Those left toes point directly down. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, step the left foot back, ground the heel, turn the toes out, and then start to bend into the right knee, just like you did on the other side. Right hand goes forward, left hand goes back. You're in Warrior 2 again. Well done. Take an inhale through your nose, and then exhale out your mouth. And then drop your back hand to your back thigh. Flip your front hand, reach all the way up and back to reverse the warrior. Keep bending into that right knee, maybe even look underneath that right armpit. Take an inhale here. Exhale, Warrior 2 again. Straighten the right thigh. Hinge forward over the right thigh. And then drop the right hand down. Left hand to the sky. We'll explore this posture, triangle pose, in greater detail later in the program. Take an inhale here. Exhale, warrior two. Bend the right knee again. Before we circle both hands forward so that they frame the right foot, turn the left toes so that they're pointed forward and set up for your twist. Left hand to the ground, right hand to the sky. That's a lot of lefts and rights. Hopefully you're not too confused. Take an inhale here. Exhale, release. Right hand down. Downward facing dog. You'll be happy to hear for the last time in this practice, we'll try our connecting flow. Inhale pours us forward to plank. Exhale, slowly lower, chest and chin all the way down to the ground. This time, just make a little pillow for your head. Rest your forehead onto your hands and maybe start to rock the hips from side to side. Nice subtle way to ease tension in the low back and also give us some restorative space within this fairly intensive first practice in this series. From here, just tiptoe the hands down by your side, maybe resting on your knuckles, resting the nose, resting the forehead down towards the ground. As you inhale, start to lift the chest, lift the chin, maybe lift the arms as well, pressing the palms up towards the ceiling. As you exhale, slowly release. And again, inhale, lift. And then exhale, lower. Slide the hands forward towards your chest, push back to tabletop, and then back to child's pose. So we really start to wind things down now. Sit all the way back towards your heels. This time walking both hands off the right side of your mat. Tiptoe the fingers forward and start to sink the chest, sink the chin down over the right thigh. Again, we're lengthening the spine here. We're creating a nice side body stretch all the way down that left side and into the left hip. And then release. Tiptoe the hands all the way off the left side of your mat now. Begin to slowly fold over the left thigh. Sinking that chin down towards your chest, forehead down towards the ground. Maybe you tiptoe those right fingertips a bit further forward than the left to really extend that side body stretch. Take an inhale here. And then exhale, release. Awesome. From here, we're going to make our way onto our back. So just kick your feet forward, lie all the way onto your back. We'll walk the heels in towards the hips here for bridge pose. So you can start by just resting your elbows in by your side with your fingertips pressing up towards the ceiling and your fingers spread wide. As you inhale, press into your heels. Start to lift the hips, lift the pelvis up toward the ceiling. Begin to wrap those inner thighs toward one another, avoiding the temptation for the knees to wobble or flare out to the side. Start to roll your shoulder blades together, taking as big a back bend as it feels comfortable in your practice, or just linger where you are. You can now rest your hands onto your chest and focus more on just lifting the hips. Take an inhale here. And then exhale, release. Awesome. Take your arms out into a big letter T shape from here. Palm of the hands press up towards the ceiling. You maybe tuck your chin gently towards your chest. Spread the feet so they're about hip width or slightly wider than hip width apart. And then just like a set of window wipers, allow both knees to flop all the way to the right. You can take a simple spinal twist here just by looking over the left shoulder towards the left hand. You can linger here for a couple of breaths, or you can even pick up that right foot, place it on top of the left thigh, and just guide both knees a bit further down towards the ground. And then release. Uncross the feet, allow the knees now to flop all the way to the left. Again, you've got that option to just pick up the left foot, place it onto the right thigh, and just guide both knees a bit closer down towards the ground. Take one last inhale. And then exhale, release. Come back to center with the feet. Before we settle into some rest to finish the practice, you can just allow the knees to flop from side to side, nice and easy. Easing any last remaining tension in the low back or in the hips by just rocking the knees side to side. And then when you feel ready, we'll make our way to rest just by kicking the feet out long, allowing the toes to just roll out to the side. You can keep your hands where they are in that big letter T shape if you have space, or just rest your hands down by your side. One of the really nice features of a regular yoga practice is this space at the end of the practice to just be still. It may feel a little strange, particularly if you're new to yoga, but I assure you the more that you practice, this will be the space that you long for the most. We'll take at least 10 deep breaths here to just round out the practice, knowing that this may well be the only period of stillness that you have today, so just settle in deep. Indeed, if you're someone who is thinking about or perhaps interested in developing a regular meditation practice, this might be a nice place to start. Lie onto the ground, find a comfortable space, lengthen the back of your body, close your eyes, and just focus on the rhythm of your breath. Just be still. Perhaps the most difficult part of the practice. You're very welcome to leave this Ultimate Warrior practice here, or you can linger in this restful meditation for as long as you like. Thank you for practicing with me today. I hope you enjoy the rest of the series.